Welcome on another episode of Creators Corner. I'm your host, James Dale, and I'm here with Omarion. How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
All right.
See you, man.
Same here, man. I met Omarion over at UFC Gym a few years ago. He was one of the trainers, and his training style stood out to me, and I liked the fact that he was very poised. He was intuitive of all of the people that was there, all of his students, and they respected him. He's one of the trainers that people respected. And upon interacting with him, I found out that he was a MMA fighter. So what inspired you, or who inspired you to be an MMA fighter?
Charles Grace. He got me in the gym. He got me to believe in myself. I was down and out. I wasn't really doing much. Fresh out of high school. College dropout. And he just got me busy. He gave me purpose.
Okay, so walk us through that process of learning martial arts and what style of martial arts did you learn at first?
Okay, so it was really hard. I won't lie, I almost quit a couple times. I started out doing Muay Thai first. Traditional Muay Thai, then we moved over to boxing, then we moved over to Jiu-Jitsu. So just starting out with the Muay Thai, it had its challenges, ups and downs, but Charlie always made sure, he kept my head focused, had me focused, he seen the potential, he just kept growing with me, and now I'm here.
Okay, that's good. So one question I have, and I know the answer to that question because I train in Jiu-Jitsu, but during your training, discipline that you learned in training with Muay Thai at first, does it help you with other areas of your life?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like martial arts is a lifestyle. It's not just fighting. It's not just picking up gloves. It's not just self-defense. It's a lifestyle. Everything I learn in here, I take with me to life. As far as not giving up, not quitting. Sometimes life hits you. You got to keep going. Life can hit you all the way until you feel like you can't move no more. You just got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. Just like you were saying earlier about having the confidence in yourself. Martial arts helps you build so much confidence.
Yeah, for me, I started doing Jiu-Jitsu because I was on a weight loss journey. I was like 275 and had high blood pressure, I had cholesterol, and borderline diabetic. And I needed and wanted something to help me with discipline. And having a stationary job, a sedentary job as a bus driver, you don't get too much time to do any exercises, A, and B, I didn't have that discipline to continue at it and stay at it, and I started Jiu-Jitsu, and one thing that really prompted me to do Jiu-Jitsu is a situation that happened with a passenger, and they were pretty aggressive, and I allowed that passenger to make me angry. You know what I mean? And there's a saying goes, if somebody can make you upset, they can control you. So I looked out there, did my cold calls, and went on the internet, and I found a jiu-jitsu gym not too far from where I reside in New Britain called Relson's Gym. Shout out to Relson's Gym. Shout out to the trainers out there at Relson's Jiu-Jitsu out in Newington. And what stood out for me is I told him that I wanted to do something that helped me elevate my mind, body, and soul. And he said that he incorporates Jiu-Jitsu and weight training, strength training, and as well as yoga. You know what I mean? And that helped me be a lot more centered and a lot more stoic person. So a lot of things don't rattle me. You know what I mean? I stay in control over situations. I make sure I'm in control of my tone when I speak to people. I always assess people when I'm around them. I give myself space because you never know when somebody could just flip out. Especially for me, dealing with the public. But that helped me with discipline, and it helped me stay centered and attack life one day at a time, one step at a time, because with martial arts, as a trainer, you can attest to this, you can't skip steps. You can't half-ass it. If you are in it, you got to be in it to win it. You cannot do anything and say, okay, I want to be a black belt by next year. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to do the work, and you have to be disciplined, and you got to take the training seriously, and you make sure you have to be present in the moment. And that is something that is psychological. A lot of people, they dwell on the past, and they are depressed. A lot of people worry about the future, and they develop anxiety. So when you are mindful, when you're in the moment, when you're present, you hold yourself accountable for your actions, and you take everything one step at a time. So how long have you been doing martial arts training?
I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now.
Okay.
Only 2.5 years.
In 2.5 years, you decided to go pro. What prompted you to go pro? Did somebody see something in you that said, you know what I mean, I see your development, and I think you should take this to the next level?
Giving it back to Charles Grace. Charles Grace gets all my praise, and without him, I wouldn't have picked up a glove. I wouldn't be in here.
Okay.
Even I lost my first couple fights, Charles Grace told me keep going.
Okay.
You gonna be something. You gotta believe in yourself, you know. And that's all I needed. So just take what he tells me, you know, and I keep going. That was about it.
Okay. So what is your record right now?
My record right now, amateur, I'm 0-3. Smokers, I'm 1-0, and now I'm on my professional journey. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, that's good. So you training, you know what I mean? And I know from being in the jiu-jitsu gym that training is an intricate part of being a professional. You know, you have to go to different gyms, and you gotta, like a comedian, you have to practice your chops and see what works with the crowd. You know what I mean? Being in that gym, there was a lot of professional jiu-jitsu fighters that will come in and then try out certain things and roll around with us and see what works and see what don't. Because if you don't practice, you won't get perfect. You won't master and hone your craft. So being a professional in the past 2 years, you know, you said your trainer saw something within you. What aspect of martial arts do you incorporate in your fighting style? Would you call yourself a Muay Thai fighter? Would you call yourself a mixed martial artist?
I call myself a freestyle fighter.
Okay.
So I don't think I do just one thing. I think I absorb. It could be Wing Chun. I absorb whatever it is, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna find some way to use it because I just feel like that's what people don't do. I think I take everything that people would say, this probably couldn't work, and I make it work. So yeah, I just call myself. I use everything: boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I just mix it all together. I think I'm probably one of, not to be cocky, but I think I'm one of the best people that can put it all together and make it look good, make it work.
So, how do you know what style of fighting you're going to incorporate it in your fight when you meet up with your opponent?
Honestly, besides prep, like studying the tape, you know, watching, even that I don't give too much into it as far as studying or, you know, just seeing. I don't really care about what my opponent does. It's more of just how free I feel in my mind.
Okay.
How wild am I gonna get? You know, if I feel danger or I'm in the ring, okay, I'll be more precise. You know, probably box heavier boxing, high hands. You know, but if I feel good in there, do whatever I feel like doing. You know, it's crazy.
So preparing for the fight, do you not study or train a certain fighting style before meeting with a specific opponent?
No,
or
I
you
practice
just do
everything.
You
I practice everything. Kickboxing, we box every day. Kickbox every day. MMA every day. Every day.
Okay, so what is your favorite? What do you focus on?
My favorite right now is jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I'm on because I wrestled for like 7 years, so I just started doing jiu-jitsu these past couple months, and I've been excelling. I'm just trying to keep it going, see how far I can go. I got a jiu-jitsu competition in December. Hopefully that goes well. Just keep trying.
Okay, that's good. When I was in high school, shout out to Alfred E. Smith in the Bronx. I wrestled. You know what I mean? I was on the wrestling team. Wrestled at 220, and I remember our training. You know what I mean? I hated the training more so than rolling around with my my fellow teammates. He would have us run a mile. My high school was 4 levels. We had to sprint up the 4 floors 4 times, which is a mile. And after we did that, we would go down in the basement and we would do sprints. And after we did the sprints, we would roll with every member that was on the team. And after we did that, we would go inside the gym and practice moves, and then we would hit the weight room. And that's every day we did that. You know what I mean? And it taught me a lot about dedication. Because if you're not dedicated to your craft, you would never find out what your weaknesses are. You would never develop a strength, and you would never have a like or a dislike with something. I'm going to give you a quote by Mike Tyson. He said that you have to do something you hate like you love it in order to master it. And that is a very good thing that I like to incorporate with my everyday life. And looking back at my experience as a wrestler, I can say that I hated every aspect of that, but it was well needed because it helped me with my confidence. I couldn't actually walk down the street with my shoulders back and my head held high, and I know if this person would do this, I would do that and that. And that's how it would run down in my brain. And one thing that I realized, that martial arts is the real thing. It's not like WWE back in the days where people thought it was commercialized. It's real because one of my teammates, he got into a real fist fight with somebody, and he used a move on the guy, and the guy couldn't move, and he was frustrated because he couldn't do anything. And that's the moment that I realized that the training that we go through is real training, and you can really defend yourself. So do you incorporate a lot of wrestling in your matches, or it all depends on where you go? Like if you grapple and you find out yourself on the ground.
Absolutely. Wrestling. I use wrestling even when I'm boxing. People don't know it. Wrestling just the same way you saying, like it taught you that discipline to just always grind. You gotta work harder than the next man, always, all the time. It doesn't matter whether you're the lesser man or not. You gotta work hard, just like you're a pro or whatever. You gotta work hard. So even when I'm wrestling, it just gave me that mindset to always attack, always keep going. It doesn't matter you're losing, whatever. Just keep going until you're done. So I use even regular life wrestling. Just like you're saying, wrestling gave me that confidence. It gave me that skill to just know, like, you have to grind. It gives you that grind mentality. Like, there's no other way. You got to go through it. There's no other way. There's no shortcuts. There's no pity patty. You got to do it and do it for real. Do it like you love it. Even if you hate it, do it like you love it.
Yeah,
got to.
I remember my first week in jiu-jitsu, and the trainer, he said, Daniel, he said to never give your back to your opponent, because if you give your back to your opponent, you are pretty much telling your opponent that you gave up. You know what I mean? You don't have any fight left in you. And he was a military guy, and he trained a whole fleet of soldiers, and that is something that he incorporated all of the disciplines that he learned in the military into teaching people jiu-jitsu. So the difference between wrestling and jiu-jitsu, from having a wrestler's background, do you see a huge difference, or it just is more technique with jiu-jitsu rather than wrestling?
In my personal opinion, the greatest difference between jiu-jitsu and wrestling is the pace. As far as the technique, pace and technique. So I'm not that there's not a lot of techniques that go into wrestling. There's a mile long, years long worth of information we could go about wrestling technique. There's a lot of technique, but jiu-jitsu is more intricate. It gets deeper. Like wrestling, it's just the pace. Wrestling, you're going. Jiu-jitsu is more, it's a test match. You want to take your time, see what you're gonna do, figure out your moves. You try one lock, it doesn't work, you do something else. Whereas wrestling, there's like, all right, I shoot, I don't get that shot, I might re-shot, okay, I get that takedown. But my main goal is to just get this man on the ground. Once I get his back on the ground, I'm done. Whereas as far as jiu-jitsu, we can go to the ground, they're already on the ground, now what? That's where you separate wrestling from jiu-jitsu. Like, Wrestling, you just put them on the ground, you're satisfied with getting them there. Jiu-jitsu is the now what? Now what are you gonna do after you're on the ground? And that's, to me, is one of the funnest things and challenging things about jiu-jitsu. Like I get to expand my knowledge, of course, of the ground, but at the same time, it's so fun for me to learn new things. Like even though I already have like a strong basis, it's so fun to just figure out like, oh, this whole time I could have been choking people like this, or arm bar like that. Like it's a fun process. It's a great process. I love it.
While I was training in jiu-jitsu, learning a new move, it kind of reminded me of Neo from the Matrix when he downloaded all of those moves.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I know Kempo.
Right.
Yeah, all of those moves is beautiful, and it's an eye-opening experience, and it motivates you to learn more, and it forces you to put dedication in your craft. So my message to you out there as the viewers, to find that thing that is special to you, and treat it as a treat, something that you are going to cherish every time you encounter it, and you have to respect the craft, respect the process, because skipping any steps, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you are disrespecting the whole process of learning whatever you want to perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm going to ask you one more question. Omarion, I want you to tell me or show me some moves that I could do boxing-wise, some combos.
Yes, sir. All right, so one of my favorite combos, right, real simple. We're going to start off in your boxing stance. We're going to go jab, 2, switch, hook to the body, hook up top. Right? Jab, 2, slide, to the body, hook up top. Jab, 2, slip, to the body, hook up top. There you go.
Okay, so Omarion, I want you to let the viewers know, people that don't have a background in boxing. I have some experience with boxing.
Right.
What is the importance of your stance when you are boxing?
Your stance is everything. Your stance is your foundation. Your stance, without a proper stance, you can't throw a proper punch. If your feet not right, without a proper tree trunk, the tree not gonna grow. Right? The tree trunk messed up, the tree gonna grow messed up.
Yes.
Right? So everything starts from the bottom, from your feet. If your feet not right, if you're not grounded, you're not gonna get no power. You're not gonna be able to do anything. So you gotta make sure you got a nice, wide, strong stance, core stance, and drive all your power from the back of your legs. Without the back of your legs, without your feet, you don't have nothing. Without no base, you don't have nothing. You can't build a pyramid without a base, right?
That's true. So you have a lot of people who are right-handed, and you have some people who are left-handed. Is it important to stand with your right foot forward if you are a southpaw, or is it important for you to stand left foot forward if you are southpaw? Does it correlate with what your dominant hand is, or is it the total opposite?
That's a tricky question because it goes for there's people like me, right? I'm left hand, I'm right hand dominant for some things, but I like to use my left a lot. Okay. So I'll switch my stance almost every chance I get. Okay. I will fight in the southpaw stance just because it's slightly comfortable to me, So, but yes, the ultimate answer to your question is yes. If you're very much so right hand dominant, then you should always keep your left foot forward. If you are left hand dominant, you always want to keep your right foot forward because it's always your power hand. You want to keep the power hand always chambered, right? Keep the weaker one.
Okay. So what is the importance of having that stance?
The importance of having a south or orthodox?
Having your dominant hand back.
So okay. So boom. So say if I was southpaw, right? My left hand is my dominant hand. This is my stronger hand, right? So I'm gonna use the weaker hand to do the weaker things, right? Your jab, a jab is, you can knock somebody out with a jab, but you don't use a jab to knock somebody out. You use your jab to set things up, right? So I'm gonna use my power hand to set things up to finish the setup, right? So here, I keep my stronger hand back. So I can let you feel this one. All right, probably think this is as strong as it's gonna get. Then use a power hand. Yeah, keep my dominant hand, keep it back, because I know for sure this one is stronger than this one.
Okay, so looking at that combination, I noticed that the torque and the power you generated for your dominant hand punch, it came from your feet. So what is a proper way to throw a punch?
So proper way, like I said, you keep the opposite of the dominant hand forward. So if I was a lefty, right, I'm gonna keep my right foot forward. Where you really get your power from throwing punches is your hips, right? Your feet down to up to your hips. So if I don't turn, if I don't have this here, I'm driving my hips or driving my knee down into the ground. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I don't have this, you're not gonna get no power. I can throw a hook all day like this. It's not gonna do nothing.
Right.
It's not gonna get no. You know what I'm saying? So until you turn your hips, that's why I was saying like you gotta have a strong base. If my feet were here, right? If I have my feet close together, and even if I did turn my hips, it's not gonna work.
Right.
You don't get no power there. Now I have a strong base. I'm gonna turn my hip. It's a different story.
Yeah.
You know?
So is that stance important with defense? You talked about offense. Is that important for defense to have your dominant hand back, to have your feet separated so you stand it at a proper width? You know what I mean? Because I remember from training that if you are stepping to the right or to the left, you want to make sure that your feet don't cross.
Right.
Because if you cross, your opponent sees that, he can throw a punch and subsequently knock you out.
Yes, sir. So as far as the moving around in your defense goes, yes, you still want to keep a strong base. You want to have strong roots, right? Because without that, you can't move. If I keep, just like you were saying, I keep my feet close together, and somebody's coming at me, and I'm trying to move. You're fumbling. You got fumble on your feet, right? But if I got a wide base, even if I don't have good movement, and I got a wide base in somebody, at least I have enough room to move. To move yourself.
So your stance is your offense.
Yes, sir.
Your stance is your defense.
Yes, sir.
And what controls everything is your mind.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? You can incorporate that with everything that you do, with everything that you approach. There is a method to the madness. You can't, one can't walk into running. You know what I mean? Or one can't step into swimming. You have to take the proper steps to do what you need to do. So that is one aspect of the martial arts style that you use in your training. What's another style that you would like to demonstrate?
So now we can get into the Muay Thai or just kickboxing. It doesn't specifically have to be Muay Thai. So start from. Okay. So I'll give you a Muay Thai combo. All right. We're gonna go 1, 2. Right. We're gonna take our elbow. 3. Come back. Just throw your knee. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2. Elbow. Reach back. Okay. There you go. Perfect. 1, 2. Elbow. Reach back. Oh, there you go.
So I had a little difficulty throwing the left kick because my feet wasn't planted the right way. What is the right way to plant your feet to get the proper torque?
So again, this is back. This is back when we get into that. We want a nice wide stance,
Okay.
right? So if I throw my 1, 2, I lean. I only move my lead foot a half an inch to throw my elbow. I'm gonna make sure I connect with that elbow. It's shorter, so I have to close the distance, right? Rather than if I can keep my feet here, throw a punch all day. Take that extra step, throw the elbow, right? So 1, 2, take that extra step, throw the elbow. See my feet are really wide. All I'm really going to do is lean back. I'm not even going to move my feet. Just lean back.
So you have to open up your feet in order to get the balance.
Yes, sir. You want to make sure that back leg is always pivoted. But that goes for any kick. Whatever kick you do, you want to make sure you pivot 8 foot. Unless it's a teep, maybe. Other than that, you want to make sure you pivot. So yes, sir. You want to make sure you got a strong base. Like I said, all I do is lift this leg up and pivot this foot, just so I can get a nice turn.
Right.
That's all.
And that is important too, to turn your body with the kick so
Yes,
you
sir.
can have the power to kick.
Yes, sir.
If you stand a different way, you won't get enough power and you can be off balance. So you always put your archway forward, lean forward, and kick through. You follow through. You kick through the bag, not at the bag, not on the bag. That was one of the lessons that you actually. So that is one combo for Muay Thai. We did a combo for boxing. What is another martial arts style that you incorporate within your uses when you fight?
I also incorporate wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So we're gonna do a jiu-jitsu move?
Yeah.
Cool, okay.
Go these girls. Pound and ground time.
Say it's about to be a curveball, you know what it is. Alright guys, so I'm gonna teach you guys how to do Kimura. Some people call them like Americana. Alright, I'm not really too sure on the jiu-jitsu name, so don't crucify me. But James is gonna get into his guard. And what that means is he's gonna get down and lay down on his back, and I'm gonna enter his guard. Right, so he's gonna get down. Boom. It's good positioning in jiu-jitsu and wrestling is terrible for him. Jiu-jitsu, awesome. I had to learn that myself. Alright, so now I'm entering his guard, right? So I don't really want to be inside his guard, so I'm gonna get myself out, right? So what I would do is brace myself, brace his knees with my elbow, right? We're gonna pass his guard. Take his inside knee, slide it out. Now I'm going to be on the side of him, right? Still, I prefer to be in full mount. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep his hands here, slide this knee across his belly. Now I'm in full mount, okay? So, what I learned from my good friend Angel, alright? Shout out to Angel. If you're watching this, you taught me this, you're the best. Alright, so I'm gonna keep my hands on his biceps, right? I'm gonna pick a hand to go to. Say it's his, for this video's sake, we'll go right hand, okay? I'm gonna take left hand, sorry. I'm gonna take his left hand, right? Push it down on the ground. I'm then gonna take this other hand, I'm gonna grab it now, all right? I'm gonna make sure my elbow is touching his ear. I'm making sure my elbow is placing pressure against his head, all right? You wanna make it as comfortable as possible. I'm now gonna grab his wrist with the same hand where my elbow is touching his head, all right? I let this one go. With the free hand, I'm now gonna swim under his arm, all right? You guys see? I make like a full pro with my hands, all right? So now I'm going to grab my own wrist with the free hand. All I'm simply going to do is apply a little more pressure with my elbow to his head, make sure that his arm is nice and tight in a 90-degree angle, and when it is, all you have to do is lift your wrist a little bit to the side. There you go, until you get your tap. That's all.
What I learned, the importance of doing everything that Omarion just said, is preventing your opponent from engaging with you, from getting out of the move. So when you're in someone's guard and they are going to try to, keep you in the guard. You know, grab arm, grab your lapel, and try to, you can even put a person in a Kimura when you are on the bottom. You don't necessarily have to be on the top to do that, you know what I mean? But what you want to do is always keep your opponent uncomfortable. Because if they're uncomfortable, they're not thinking about a move that they're trying to do. That's one of the things that I learned. And another thing that's important is it's a chess match when you're doing jiu-jitsu. So you got to prevent your opponent from doing what they want to do, and you have to put them in a situation where they are going to make a mistake very much.
Boom. Alright, so now we're gonna get into the wrestling, right? I'm just gonna teach you guys how to do a simple takedown, okay? So boom. So with wrestling, it's kind of like fighting. Well, it is like fighting. You want to always make sure you have a strong base. If you don't have a strong base, you're not going to accomplish anything. It's just life. You don't have a strong base, you're not going to accomplish nothing. All right. So boom. Get into my wrestling stance. Nice right feet, because I don't want him to just be able to push me back, right? I got my feet together. No base, right? Strong base, push me. I'm not going nowhere. All right.
Even if I try to bring this leg.
Even if, he still got to fight, because I got a strong base. Right. Alright, so cool. Now all I'm going to do is drive my knee into the ground, right? My head is going to go across his body, okay? And as I'm doing that, I'm going to take one leg and take the other leg I'm going to reach lower for the ankle so that he has no way to just put his foot back and fight me, right? So I drive my knee into the ground. My head is going across his body, same way you guys see. You guys want to climb the tree after you get the takedown because you don't want them to just get right back up, right?
So we want to do that in real time to show you the speed and velocity, how it can happen. Just back up just a little bit. Alright? I'm trying to do something. Boom. As quick as that. As quick as that. And the mistake I made is I had my feet together. And that's when he attacked. He noticed my mistake and he capitalized on my mistake. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing that you learn from jiu-jitsu. Yes, sir. Capitalize on people's mistakes. Because they're chess and not checkers. You know, you don't want to do a move and the person is anticipating the move because you can set yourself up for a different move. You know what I mean? So that is something that you could incorporate in any principle or any discipline that you have in your life. Yeah. So make sure that everything is calculated, it's meticulous, and you do things based on steps, and you know exactly what step 10 is going to be before you start step 1. So creativity is not just drawing, it's not just writing, it's not just taking photos, it's not just videotaping and making movies. Creativity is what you dredge up in your mind and you put into reality that somebody could admire, inspire. Like, for instance, all martial arts was something that individual thought of, and he more than likely had a discipline beforehand, and he saw different holes inside that discipline, that martial arts, and he wanted to, or she wanted to, incorporate their own mix into that martial arts and made a different martial arts. Case in point, jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? Gracie, he was a smaller stature person, and he couldn't go outside and kick football and play other sports in Brazil, you know, so he had to stay inside. So one of the martial arts that he learned was jiu-jitsu, and the standard jiu-jitsu is grappling. You know what I mean? You stand up and you fight your opponent on your feet. But him being small, he couldn't match up with his opponents. So he tweaked the original jiu-jitsu, and he used his opponent's momentum against him and got them down to the ground. And all the moves that in jiu-jitsu is based off of what Gracie incorporated into jiu-jitsu. That's why it's called Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know, it's something that he created out of that. You know what I mean? So creativity is anything that you can think of and put forward into a reality. Sure. Okay, Omarion, you know, you have your partner here. Could you let my audience know who he is?
Alright guys, this is my boy Danny. Alright, he started training about a little while ago. How long? Like almost a year now?
10 months, about a year.
10 months, about a year. My boy Danny, he's been dedicated. He's been loving it. I've watched myself, Danny's confidence grow in these past 10 months.
Yes, sir.
He came in here, he was all quiet. He was I don't even know. He's just so to himself. He wouldn't even look me in the eyes. Okay?
Well, that's the thing we were talking about. You know, martial arts, it just brings so much confidence. Like before I came here, I was more fat. I was 200 pounds. I was depressed. Didn't really have much of a purpose or anything like that. But once I came in here, you know, and I started to consistently train, I started shredding down the pounds. You know, I started to feel better about myself. Started to gain more confidence. So that's definitely, you know, like a great point. You know, that martial arts it just elevates you. You know, it brings really the best out of you. And, you know, it helps with depression and everything. So it's just, you know, it's just something I'm grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for my boy. You know, because we're all pushing each other every day, and you know, we're all here to really just help each other grow in this journey. So.
Okay, so we are here at Iron Team Warrior, the MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, strength and fitness. Could you tell me a little bit about this gym?
This is one of the greatest gyms in the Northeast. I'd say it's definitely one of the greatest striking gyms in all of Connecticut. The only second gym that can compare is FAA. and that's our brother, sister gym. You know, we go train with them. It's a family here. Plain and simple. It's a family. We try. Everybody has fun. Everybody works hard. Everybody got one goal, and that's to get better. And we have fun. We have fun. It's serious, like, because this is a serious sport. You know, we're doing something where our life is in danger for sure, but we have fun here, man. We have fun. A lot of fun. We even go on trips, team trips. We go watch a team fight. You know, it's a good energy in here. You know, we do everything. We got boxing. We do boxing, Muay Thai, and wrestling or Jiu-Jitsu every single day. We got that every day. Whenever you want to come, you guys can come and get your work.
And you made a perfect statement when you say that you train to have fun, you train to get better, not train to win.
Sir?
You know what I mean? Because once you hone your craft and you are best at what you do, what your discipline is, you're bound to win. Because you have the confidence in yourself and you are sure of what you do and what you're going to bring to the table. And you're going to assess what your mistakes is, and you're not going to make too many of those mistakes because you train to eliminate the mistakes.
That's what it's all about. It's
Right.
all about just, working on yourself, really becoming the best version of yourself. Like, we all start somewhere too, so, it's obviously a little bit intimidating first when you train, it's definitely tough and all that, but like through the hard work and just through, like the people that we work with, like our teammates and all they help us, like, we all push each other to our best, so it definitely is a bit of a process, but like in the end, the results that you get out of that, the results that you get out of practice are just, they're just great,
So, other than being a student, is there anything that you do here for Iron Team Warrior?
Yeah, so I help Charles Grace with the social media a little bit. I help him just market some of like the memberships and everything that we have. I'm currently in college right now. I'm majoring in marketing, so it's a great blessing to just have that under my belt as well. And that's the thing, it's not even just about like martial arts here. Like we're all like improving like everything, we're like improving in ourselves,
Don't worry about that. Could you tell the people where they can find you if you want any clients to do, marketing for businesses out there? Just give them your social media handles and where people can find you and know your work so you can potentially get some clients.
Can I shout out my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, so check out my YouTube channel. It's called Danny-san. I make a lot of, I actually do make quite a bit of fitness videos, kind of like self-improvement videos to, help out people and all that. That's definitely something I do. And then I also have my Gmail at dannyhydar5@gmail.com. If you need help with anything marketing related, I'm really good at making flyers, posters, everything. I have experience in Photoshop, video editing. So if you really need help with your business, I'm down to help. So.
Okay, that's good. And Omarion, could you let the people know when your next fight is? Where they can find you if they want to find out more about
My next fight.
What a Muay Thai fighter looks like and what the journey that it took him to get to where he is right now as a professional fighter.
It took a lot, and it's still taking a lot day by day. Everybody deals with stuff outside of fighting. But you gotta stay consistent. You gotta come here every day, whether you feel like the world is crumbling you or not. It doesn't matter. You gotta get up and train because there's somebody else training to hurt you and hurt you bad. So that's that. All I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if it came to do with fighting, life, whatever it is. You don't quit. You keep going. Keep your head up, chest out, and you just keep moving. There's nothing else. There's no way around it. You just gotta keep moving. You gotta have the worst day.
You gotta be like a rhinoceros. Rhinoceros don't go backwards; they go forward.
Just keep going. My next fight, you guys can catch me on my next fight, October 22nd. All right, that'll be at FAA in Milford, Connecticut. If anybody wants to come down, you can find me on Instagram at officialodp. I think that's it. I don't remember.
All right, so where is Iron Team Warrior?
We're here again at Iron Team Warrior Gym. This is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're at 2291 Fairfield Ave. All right, 2291 Fairfield Ave in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
So if you are in the area, or if you just love to get into and learn a martial art, this is the best place to go because they incorporate all styles of martial arts. You can get your boxing in, you can get your wrestling in, you can get your Muay Thai fighting in, and you can get other disciplines in as well. And seeing the camaraderie here between these two gentlemen, I'm sure that they teach life lessons, and they have elders and in the gym that are members that give words of wisdom that people can take with them when they leave the door, out through the door. Because it's not always about what you see on the surface, it's what's internal. It's just like an iceberg, you know what I mean? 90% of what that mass is underneath the surface of the water. So this is a next episode of Creators Corner. My name is James Dale.
My name is Omarion Parisi.
I'm Danny Haidar.
And this is Creatives Corner. Stay tuned for the next one.